Hi folks, welcome back to the channel. Thank you very much for joining me. You're most welcome as ever. Well, today something a bit different. Some of you may recall a month or two ago I did the review of the Trumpeter TU-95 bear. Memory's going a bit. I was very harsh about it, but the reason I was harsh actually was that I really felt that it was poor for the money. I mean, that's a kit that retails at £76. Now you haven't got much choice on a big bear. I don't think anybody else makes one in that 72nd scale, and it's quite a big, brave venture to sort of go in for. But I think if it had been a bit cheaper, if it had been £50 or £60, I might have been a bit gentler on it. But it just seems such a huge chunk of money for what was an old kit. And the other thing that annoyed me was I think they put 2018 or 2017 on the side of the box, and it wasn't. It was from 2003, so I was very brutal with it. Some people thought it was too brutal. Anyway, I thought we'd have a look at another Trumpeter kit, something a bit different. So I don't seem to be coming across as one of their greatest fans. So you never know, my perceptions may be changed this time. So, something that's a bit more interesting, a bit of armour stroke transport. It's their KZKT-537L tractor, or truck as far as I'm concerned. It's like a super truck tractor unit. And it's also got the, I think it's an Antonov or an Ilyushin. I'm not too good with my big Soviet transport planes, but it's got one of those in the background, which you need to transport this kind of thing. So, it's a 35th scale kit, go with your armour. This one doesn't belong to me, it's been very kindly lent to me. So let's have a look at what we've got. So basically it's kit number 01005. We've got on the side, let's zoom you in, have a nosy at this. Bit of serious heavy duty transport armour here. So there we go, some nice photos on the side of it. It's a strange sort of camo pattern. It's like it's been yeah, that is odd. I've got to say, it looks like it's been half done, doesn't it? Can you see what I mean? That's a bit odd. Maybe it's based on a real vehicle, but you know, who knows. Obviously it comes with some photo etch, which are included. It says the KZKT-537L is an airfield tractor based on the MAZ-537G tractor unit, developed in Kurgan at aerodromes for towing very heavy aircraft like the Antonov AN-22. So it's the other way around. I've got it wrong already. There you go, I made a mistake. So this beast does in fact tow the aircraft in the background. Not the other way around like I suggested. It's not going on the aircraft, it's going to tug it around the airfield. Wow. So that tells you it's got a lot of power and torque, I guess. Goes on to say, speed of the towing of aircraft on the concrete surface is about 20 kilometres an hour on the ground. On the concrete surface it's 20 kilometres an hour, and on rough ground 5 kilometres an hour. Rough ground. The body of the KZKT-537 did not have the opened cabin, semi-mounted on its deck in the form of cells in the cast iron ballast cargo. They've got some slightly strange Google translators gone on here. What do they mean by that? Did not have the opened cabin, semi-mounted on its deck in the form of cells on the cast iron ballast cargo. Did not have the open cabin. I'm not quite following that. Won't worry about it. We'll get into that later. Other side, we've got some nice artwork showing a couple of examples. And as you can see, it is a curious sort of camo anyway, I guess. Yeah, it's like a semi-winter camo, isn't it? What I thought was odd about it on the other side was the fact that there was only one little bit on the top here and not on the other side. And it doesn't have to be symmetrical, but it's a bit weird. Anyway, let's get into this. We also have, the person who owns this has got some extra rather impressive looking resin, and this is the mini arm wheel set, high quality cast resin set. So we'll have a look at that in a minute. Let's have a look at the kit first and we'll see what we've got. So it's obviously a fairly major meaty tractor unit if you can pull an Antonov 22. Instructions. I'm told I must open the bags if they're not already open so you can see them properly. We've got a big bag of 8 tyres. They look quite good actually. I wonder why I went for the resin. We'll get to that. There's all sorts. There's tow ropes and there's clear parts, resin, photo etch, I mean, which I can't get hold of. And then some other bits here. Oh, oops, more. Right. Okay. Now then, where to begin with the instructions, I think. Make a lot of sense, wouldn't it, really? Let's have a look what we got. So, instructions. Study and understand carefully before assembly. Right, let's have a look then. Zoom you in for this. See what you make of it. So there's basically a sprue tree map. I just realised that that's not really helping me. I've got a light on in the background that's just not helping us at all. So, sprue tree map. Yeah, it looks like it's quite a lot of parts actually. Many parts. How many sprues have we got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 13 sprues. We've got decals, we've got die cut mask, that's good. So you start by assembling what is basically a huge great box section like a girder style chassis. So that's a big meaty old beast of a chassis, isn't it? Then you're doing the various bit parts of the transmission, it looks like here. And then you're assembling this transmission system into the chassis, which does look like a great big girder, really. I mean, it's massive. That's just a huge girder section. But anyway, and then you've got various torque converters, it looks like. And again, you know I moan about the Chinese instructions. Trumpeters are not the worst by any stretch of the imagination, but don't tell you what anything is. Instead of saying this is the torque converter or the transmission or whatever it is, they don't tell you anything. Anyway, so you've got parts here of what is obviously the suspension that are going together here. They're like a wishbone actually, aren't they? That's quite interesting. That should give it good handling, relatively speaking. And then you've got, yeah, it's like it's almost like a torsion bar, isn't it? That joins wishbone to wishbone. Interesting. Oh, comes the colour lights in a minute. Then you're building up the assembly, and you've got shock absorbers here. Clearly are dampers, shock absorbers there. Building those in, and then you've got your brake system, or your hubs I should say. Hubs here. Are they disc brakes? I think they're supposed to be disc brakes. Yeah, I guess so. And then you've got various like transformers. Some sort of is it a transformer that, or is that some sort of starter? Not sure. Again, it's very hard to follow it because it doesn't tell you. Then you move on to the cab. Start building up your cab, your steering wheel, some sort of a transformer or a generator underneath, electric generator I think it is. Then you got your windscreen going in, and is that the windscreen? Or is that the seating? No, that's the seats at the back. Yeah, rear seating. And you've got to make it as you go along with this because it doesn't tell you anything. I do get annoyed with the Chinese, you know. We've just recently seen that Tamiya Tomcat, and yeah, that was it tells you what everything is. It tells you what the colours should be. We're not getting a lot of information here. We do get some colour call-outs, but they don't seem to colour call-out on everything. The whole host of parts here with no colour call-outs. Yes, they have there. No, they haven't here. Why? Why not? Don't get it. Stupid. Anyway, that's China for you. Here we've got, we've got the sort of base of the cab is then going into the chassis, and then you're building up the rest of your what is that? Basically the suspension system and the sort of connectors between the chassis and the cab. And then we've got the fuel tanks. These are the fuel tanks here. Then we've got basically what looks like the engine, effectively. Is it the engine? Is that the engine? It's very hard to tell what it's supposed to be. It's just a box. Those are the fuel tanks. So it's not the fuel tanks. I think it's one of the. Is it one of the engines? Does it have more than one? I'm not quite sure. I think it's the engine in the middle. Actually, I think that's the way it works. Just kind of in the middle of the first 4 sets of wheels. Then you've got mud guards going on here. And then you've got the cab, the outer cab itself here, for the doors. You've got masks for the windows. And then you've got your wheels and hubs, and this is where the owner here has decided to give some nice cast resin ones. Anyway, looks like we're putting in the back of the cab, and then you've got your windscreen going in here, mirrors going on the side. Yeah, it's quite an elaborate mirror system basically. There's also some small quarter light windows at the front, and then you've got a hatch that you can get out of in emergencies here. And that's the back of the cab, where I think it takes passengers, doesn't it, at the back. And that then gets attached to the front cab, which then gets attached to the rest of the chassis. It's a big meaty vehicle, I've got to say. Then we've got what is basically the rear section, which is like can carry cargo on the back of it, luggage, cargo, etc. And you're building up this entire cargo area. It's got supports and sort of ribs to build it up, strengthen it, that reinforcement. And then you've got mud guards here that are going to go on, and lights, etc. are up here as well there. And then that finally goes on the back, and you've pretty much built up your huge tractor unit. It's a big beefy thing, isn't it? How many tons does that weigh? It's got to be a 40-50 ton truck, this, surely. It looks very heavy. Anyway, it looks good actually. I just wish that I'd got some more explanation instead of just, you know, you're building things, it's not going to explain what you're building, which component it is, which is really lacking in these instructions. Let's have a look. We've got a colour call out sheet which is much better, I've got to say. Nice and clear. A bit more of a conventional camo pattern this time. And then there's this rather odd one, which, it's not that it's odd, it was the one that was on the box that was depicted was odd, because it's like they started doing this camo and then they only did it on one side and the other side was just left without any. Very strange, But it's got guides for Humbrol, Tamiya, Master Model, Vallejo, Mr. Hobby. So that's quite good actually, in fairness. That's the best bit of it, really. So far, let's hope the plastic can impress us. So, where do we begin? Let's start with the wheels and hubs. So I know the owner of this kit was feeling that maybe that was a bit of a weak point, or the tyres were at least. So let's see these tyres. I have to open this with a knife. Let's have a looky. Are we in? Yes, we're in. No, we're not. That's just a bit. Oh, yes, we are. Oh, it's complicated. There we go. Right, now there's lots of these that are the same, so just get a couple out and have a good look at them. Well, actually, those are rather nice, I'd say. Let's have a look. Now, what do we think of these? It's got no branding on the side like you would often get with a Tamiya kit or something really upmarket. There's no. Perhaps it's not that realistic in that respect. Perhaps that's why he's decided to go for these. But the actual treads, they do look quite good, I'd say. There's no sign of a seam on them at all. I mean, the moulding is really nice. It's just a bit lacking in detail. Not the tread, just the sidewall. There's nothing on it. Just plain. Which I suspect isn't correct. And that might explain why he's gone for an aftermarket option. Just have a look at these hubs. I'm going to have to open his bag, unfortunately, slit it open, which is unfortunate, but he wants me to do that, so we shall do it. I'll do it as gently as I possibly can. Do it work? Did I just kid myself? Nope, it's working. There we go. The subtlest of incisions that was. If I was a surgeon, you wouldn't have felt a thing. Well, I'm not sure about that actually. If you look back at those models that we were laughing about that I did previously, I don't think I should be cutting anybody open really. I don't think I'd be a very good surgeon. Anyway, let's have a look here what we got. Oh, actually this looks really nice. Look at these hubs, they look fantastic. I'm going to have to compare them with the resin in a second. So have a look at these then. We've got here some very, very detailed hubs. Look at that. All the bolts are on there, all the sort of rings in the design of it. Like a hub cap on the middle as well. That's pretty good actually. So that, coupled with that, what would that be like? It's not bad. Not bad at all. As I said, it's just the lack of the only thing that's lacking on those. I think those are really nice rubber tyres. You don't get them much nicer than that. They've even got this sort of a wintry tread, so they've got a real meaty shoulder tread for digging into snow conditions. Clearly a winter or weather type because it's quite subtle in the middle and then it's really meaty on the edge. But that's nice. I'm not sure why he's gone for that. It must be because of this lack of detail. If we actually do them side by side, I think things might become clearer. Let's have a look. Just zoom out and you can see this. This is the mini arm wheel set, high quality cast resin. Whoop, whoop. Now then. Let's have a look. Oh yeah, 2 sets of them of course. Okay. Yes, now then. Let's do the side-by-side comparison and try and get a feel for what the advantage is. So first of all the tyres, let's do the tyres. Well, yes, it's all relative, isn't it? It's interesting because the actual section seems to be less. It seems to be narrower. Let's just, oops, wrong way. See if I can zoom you in properly. What do you make of this? So, we've got the resin, obviously is the light grey on the right. If you look very carefully at that, you can see that they're a little bit narrower in section, aren't they? Not quite as wide. No idea who's got it right. We clearly do have some writing on the side, which is lacking on the others. What does it actually say? Just looks like it's a size guide. It's not got a manufacturer's name. Now, right, I've got it. I know why he's done it. It's weight on wheels. Can you see that? At the bottom here, where the actual resin attachment is, it's got squishing out, and that is, of course, sadly lacking on these. So, I've just remembered, I think he did tell me this, I've just forgotten. Now it becomes clearer when you compare them. So that's very nice, in fairness. But they're going to be sitting up, and it's a very heavy thing. I'm sure they're well over 30-40 tons. And you would definitely get some squishing, and you can see that there. Here, the sidewall bulges out. Look at that. Yeah. That's nice, isn't it? And the defined detail of the tread is absolutely fabulous. Look at that. That's a very nice bit of resin, in fairness. And yeah, I understand now. I get it. So, there's that, and then there's the actual hub itself. Now, how does the hub compare with the plastic? Let's just see. I'm not sure they are hugely different. Can we see that? Sorry, wrong angles here. This is the resin here. This is the plastic here. Well, it's clearly better, but not that much better. It looks a bigger diameter on the plastic, interestingly, doesn't it? There's a little bit more detail here, which I guess is the valve cap. Can you see that? Get a bit closer for you. Here, as you look at it, it's about at 8 o'clock. There's a valve cap there. I think that's perhaps a little bit better. A bit more defined, a bit sharper. Especially on, again, it's subtle, but it's there, the difference, isn't it? Look at the centre, the very centre of the cap in the middle of the hub. It's much more defined, isn't it? So, yeah, you can see why he's gone for it. It all becomes clear now. But it is, in fairness to Trumpeter, that's pretty good moulding. So, you know, I don't think you actually need it. However, if you really want to push the boat out and go that final extra mile, I do think that the tyres kind of, once I saw that it was weight on wheels, then I realised why you've done that. That's clearly better. Okay. So ignore my earlier comments. It's all clear to me now. Those are beautiful. Right, okay. Nice resin. Very impressive. Right, put that one aside for a second. Now, back to the actual plastic. Oh, I'll put these tyres away as well. Oh god, I thought I made a mess of this. They're not going to go back in now, are they? I can tell. Like a jack in a box. There we go. Oh yes, come back together. There we go. Right. Okay. Sorry about that. Back to the job in hand. Now then. A lot of very fine parts. You've got little drive shafts. Can you see those? Let's just zoom that in. Little drive shafts here, which look really, really nice. Look at those. Those are really good with the universal joints. Yeah. Excellent. Got some jerry cans here. Here's your wheel hub with what I presume is supposed to be the disc brakes. I presume. It's not entirely clear how it brakes, but I think it's, yeah. I think the discs, aren't they, those? Kind of look like disc brakes to me. Some more of them over here. And there's no flash on this, and I have to say that the moulding is pretty exquisite. Can't see anything wrong with it. There's your dampers here and here. Shockers. Very nice, that. Nice sprue. No problems at all. There's two of those sprues. So put those back in the bag. Very nicely open for once. Instead of ripping at it with the knife. Now the top's been slit on. Excellent. That's that one. Go over there. Now then. We've got, let's get straight into these cabs. Let us open a proper look. See if I can repeat my magic cut, but I can't. Ouch, I went into me then by mistake. Look, I've done it again, hey, I'm getting good at this. Oh, that's a very subtle cut. There could be a surgeon. Right, now then, look at this. That's a nice cab, isn't it? Nothing wrong with that. Recessed depressed area for the actual quarter light here, and the windscreen, so they are recessed to go in. That's nice. Nice moulding. Yeah, some ejection pins, but you're never going to see them on the roof. It's not a problem. Oh, I like that. That's very, very good. Put that there. Have a look at this other one, which is the back section of it. Let's try and get one of my magic cuts again if we can. It's got more air in this one, I think it's a bit trickier. Doesn't want to come apart. I didn't do it enough. Try again. There we go. Now then. Oh, that's nice. That's very nice. Yeah, it's got all these ventilation grills on the roof and on the side. Very nicely moulded, that. Yeah, can't fault that at all. Again, lots of ejector pins on the inside, but in a place that would never ever be seen. So, you can forget them. That is very, very good. So, goes on the back, doesn't it? Yes, I like it. Right, well those are very nice, so no problems there. I'll put them back in the bag, just take them out later. Next one. This is the base of the cabin area. Oops, too close, sorry about this. There we are. and it's got like a running board area, a little tiny bit of flash on that edge, nothing to worry about, just a quick swipe with the sanding stick will sort that out. And then you've got your doors here for your cabin, and that's pretty nice, plus the hatches above. You've got your sort of instrument panel dashboard, I should say. Very old school dashboard, that. And you've got these various parts that are like compressor parts I mentioned earlier. It's nice, you know, there's no horrible, nasty, weird surfaces or weird texture in the plastic like we had in that the Bear, which was on the wings, and one wing in particular, it's just horrible. How it ever left the factory like that, I don't know, especially at the price they charge for them. But this one looks absolutely fine. It's nice, there's no flash there on the small parts, it's all very clean, very crisp, like that. It's very nice. I think this is going to get a better score than the Bear got. I'll tell you there, no question. We've got one here where we've got a bag open, which makes it easy for me. Oops. So here again we've got parts that are the base and the side panels for the main cab area. Some quite sort of chunky parts here really. They're actually not very detailed though, so there's not a lot of feature to them apart from here. This is the, I said it was the base, it's actually the stowage area at the back, the cargo area if you like, where they can carry luggage and materials. Cargo. And this one, this is the the girder as I described it, which forms the chassis basically. Huge, great sort of metal steel section, I guess. I suppose it's forged steel. I don't think it's forged, was it be cast? It's forged, I think. And then lots of little parts that are connecting members, etc. And one or two of the smaller parts, things like the tow hook, that's quite nice, isn't it? Can you see that? Nicely done. Tow hooks and eyes, the lights, looks like the light here, whoops. Oh, that's been slide molded, doesn't it? A nice kit this, I've got to be honest, it's, yeah, it's going to be a real meaty Tonka toy like vehicle when you build it up. Anything that can tug around an Antonov, you know, which must weigh, what must an Antonov weigh? 60 ton, 70 ton aeroplane? More. A lot more than that when it's loaded, obviously. Probably 100 tons plus. It's going to be a meaty old tractor to do that. Now then, some more parts here. A little bit of foam to try and protect it. Okay. Now then, what's that there then? Oh, they've just put the foam in, I think, because a little bit. There's a part that's pointy. Why they didn't just cut that off, part of the sprue? Don't know. Bit weird. Now there are quite a few parts, in fairness, that are a bit sharp. Can you see that? And they need protecting as well. So some are sharp parts of the sprue. Some are actually genuine parts which need a bit of extra protection. So I won't peel this off. Just have a peep underneath and see what they are. And it looks like it's some of the finer parts, like the tools and things like that. I can see there we've got the suspension anti-roll bars, for example, like a rod. That's one part. Got steering wheel. And stowage box at the end there. And then you've got the fuel tanks I mentioned, there they are, fuel tanks. Sit on either side. Yeah, it's nicely done actually. And look at the back of the steering wheel, you can see it's got little, it's knobbled on the back like they used to be on cars for a hand grip, knobbly reverse for your fingers to get a bit of a purchase onto. That's cool. That takes me back to the cars of the 60s and 70s, that does. And yes, indeed, Unfortunately, I am that old. Anyway, we've got some of these sort of transformery bits and like torque converters, and I'm guessing what they are really. But you've got some drive shafts here as well. Have a look at this. That's a drive shaft there, dead centre of the image now. A universal joint. And then you've got these little, what look like compressors or torque converters, I'm not sure what they are. Various lumps and bumps, little, this is where the engine is. It's a shame the engine isn't actually featured, it's just like it's just like covered in, isn't it? I'm not sure how they're powered. Is it diesel or is it some sort of electric, like a forklift truck? It can't be. It wouldn't have the power, would it, to tow an Antonov aircraft? There must be a diesel engine, and it's all covered in under this arrangement here, unfortunately. Yeah, it's a shame they didn't feature the engine as well. And then we've got, and I shan't open the bag to this, this is all little parts that are the little wishbones I spoke of. If I open this bag, I think they'll be all over the place, but they're nice, they're kind of slide moulded. You see that? Completely hollow at one end, which is really cool. That's nice. And then, I'll be short of a bag, that should go in there, shouldn't it? I think they share a bag, don't they? Oh, it's got a little bit of... because I had 2 stabs at cutting it open, we've now got it hanging off the bag. Careful here. Got these little air holes in the bags, and unfortunately some of the parts are going to get caught and snagged on them. Right, now then. Let's have a look. Some more small parts. Let's screw small parts. Now then, what have we here? Well, again, looks like various little anti-roll bars, parts of the suspension system, I think. Also some, looks like ladders, climbing ladders for climbing onto the vehicle here. Like a running board area here with grips on. Various small rods and connectors. I don't know what the parts are. This is why it's so annoying that they don't explain it in the instructions. It really annoys me. And here, here we go, we've got some interesting parts. You've got fire extinguishers here. That's quite cool, isn't it? Look at those. 2 fire extinguishers, here and here. A little bit of like a vent, I think that's from the side of the engine to cooling, extra cooling. But it doesn't seem to have an exhaust system, so I'm sceptical that I'm right here. The fact remains that if we had some information, I'm going to have a moan here, rant. If we had some information on the instructions to tell you the power plant and all that, they don't do any of this, the Chinese. It's so frustrating. You know, you should say it's a 7.5 litre engine diesel. No, nothing like that. You're left just in the dark, not knowing how it's powered. So. And you don't know what the parts are because they won't tell you. And it's not just this kit, it's so many Japanese kits, they just can't be bothered, can they? Clear parts, these windows, oh, those are nice. Those are nice actually. I think they'll look really cool when they're installed in that cab. A little bit of distortion, if I'm honest. It would be really critical, they are, you can see the way the light's distorting on them there. It's not quite Tamiya quality, but that's pretty good actually. They're nice and clear, and they're very bright, clear, sharp looking. Yeah, they're not bad at all actually. Quite like that. There's the quarter light windows here. These are obviously your main windscreen windows, and these are the side windows for the door. That's nice. Okay, back into bag safely. And then it just leaves us with the masks. Now Trumpeter are really good in that they have numbered the masks. You can clearly see which mask is for which part, which is excellent. So hats off to them for that. I won't open this, it's just very, very limited decals. And then we've got, and I won't open these because, yes I will. Yes, I will, because there's some fine parts here. I think we should have a look. He says, "Come in or not?" Yes, no. That one didn't go as well as I'd hoped. There we go, we're in there. Now, the reason I wanted to open them is when I saw the detail here of these lamp lenses. Can you see that? They actually got like a Fresnel lens. That's really nicely done, actually. I like that. Those are nice. Well, I've got to say, I'm fairly impressed with this kit. I'm just very disappointed with the instructions and the lack of information about the vehicle. And this is where they can't be bothered. They're great at actually making you a nice kit. Got some photo etch, which I think does justify being open for inspection. Let's have a look at this. Last item. Oops. Trumpeter photo etch. So we've got a photo etch dashboard, and this looks pretty nice, I've got to say. Doesn't it? That's good. Instruments here, instrument panel. Do we have instruments in the decals? No, there's no instruments in the decals, which is odd. But you've got the actual dials here, which is a bit silly. I suppose you put a wash on them, or a pin wash, just dot it on there and it'll come up looking a bit more realistic. It's a bit strange they've done it in gold. A decal over that would have worked better, I think, but anyway, just my opinion. But some nice photo edge there, and then there's another fret of it here, separate one, which is protected, which is good. So we'll leave that on. We've got a number plate. See that number plate here? And also I think it's the fuel part of the fuel tanks, just to give it that metal look, and also a part of the bumpers and things. And then the rear number plate, I think it is here, and like an identification plate. Nice, very nice. Well, to be honest, overall I quite like it. Quite impressed. Just let down by its abject lack of information. Well, it's a lot nicer as a kit, I think, than the Bear was. I think it's a much more modern moulding, much more professionally constructed, and certainly the finishing quality is far better. So, I am disappointed with the instructions and the lack of data. I think that's just stupid. They don't learn. They don't learn. They are not prepared to give you any research. You know, it's as though they just rock up and scan everything with 3D. And I think this is a modern problem with. It's not just the Chinese that are a little bit like this. It's too easy to scan things using the technology and produce a really nice 3D rendering that produces a really good injection moulded kit. But that is only half of what we want to purchase. We want to purchase a sort of experience. We want some data about the vehicle. Where is it used? Why is it used? Show us some footage or photos. Tell us a bit about it. Give us the specifications. They don't seem to have done that. It's just a kit, and you're left guessing about about the nature of it. It says it's detailed scale model kit. Well, it is. It's certainly detailed, but there's no detailed information, is there? Well, it's going to get a better rating than the Bear, so relax, folks. I think I'm going to give it 8. I'd like to give it more. I think 8 out of 10 is fair. It's a nicely moulded kit. It'll build into a real corker, especially with this. You could almost say it's 9 out of 10 thanks to this, which is not part of the kit, of course. That's very nice, that resin. But it could be so much better if they just made a bit more effort with the instructions. So that's my view. I'd say 8 out of 10, 9 if you include the resin as a package. So that's where I'm at. I think it's a nice kit though, a nice kit, but they need to do more work. These manufacturers have got to make more effort. And until they do, they're never going to be anywhere near Tamiya. You saw that Tomcat a few days back. They nailed it. Tamiya nailed it on every level, which they're doing on most of the stuff they're producing now. They give that information, they do their research, they tell you about it. it's a historical learning experience, a bit like Wingnut Wings. Not quite as good as Wingnut Wings was, but it's close. This tells you nothing, really, next to nothing, and it's frustrating. They need to make more effort. The Chinese are just never going to be able to match Tamiya for quality or for the price they can actually charge until they make that effort. There we go. So 8 out of 10, 9 with the extras. Okay, which I think that's quite a good score. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and give me a 10 out of 10 with a thumbs up. Give us a like. If you haven't subscribed already, please do so, because then you'll get to see all the other reviews I've done, and we're heading up towards, I don't know, 340, 350, something like that. Vids. And if you are a keen subscriber, don't forget to ding the notification bell, because that's what gives you the early warning that another one is coming soon, and sometimes there can be several days alert warning if you've subscribed and ding the bell. That's it from me for now. I think there's another model review I'm hoping to do in the next sort of week or so. So until then, thanks very much for watching. I appreciate your time as always. Hope you look after yourself, stay safe, stay well. Thanks a lot, and bye for now.